Hi, in this video, I'm going to talk about GCE level math with circles. And first, I will go through some of the concepts first, and then we'll start doing some questions together. Okay, so let's go through the concept for this chapter first. For the part 1 here, the midpoint of the line segment with endpoints x1, y1, and x2, y2 is x1 plus x2 over 2 and y plus y2 over 2. And let's say this 2 point here, this one here, and here. If you want to know the midpoint for the x coordinate would be this one plus this one and then divided by 2. And for the y coordinates, if you want to know the midpoint, then would be the y2 plus y1 and then divided by 2. So the midpoint would be this formula here. And for the part 2, the perpendicular bisector of the line segment AB is the straight line that is perpendicular to AB and pass through the midpoint of AB. So perpendicular mean 90 degree, okay, to the original line, and perpendicular bisector would be the perpendicular line through the midpoint. And for the part 3, the equation of a circle with center 0, 0 and the radius r is x squared plus y squared equals to r squared. So always remember this one here would be the equation of the circle. And for part 4, the equation of the circle with the center AB and the radius r is x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals to r squared. Yeah, so let's say if I have a circle that has the center of, okay, I'm gonna write it here for the part 4. Let's say if I have a circle that has the center of -2 and 3, okay, and has the radius of 2. So the equation for that circle would be x minus -2 square plus y minus 3 square equals to r square. So it would be 2 square, which is 4. X plus 2 square plus y minus 3 square equals to 4. And for the part 5, the equation of the circle can be given in a form of x squared plus y squared plus 2fx plus 2gy plus c equals to 0. And this circle has the center of -f and -g with the radius of root f squared plus g squared minus c. Okay, so for the part 5 here, let's say if the center is minus f and minus g with the radius of root f squared plus g squared minus c. So always remember, circle should always be written as this form here. Okay, so if the x coordinate is minus f, then x minus f square plus y minus g square will be equals to r square. So basically this value here square would be f square plus g square minus c. F plus f square plus y plus g square equals to f square plus g square minus c. So x square plus 2fx plus f square plus y square plus 2yg plus g square equals to f square plus g square minus c. From there, x square plus 2fx plus f square plus y square plus 2yg plus g square equals to f square plus g square minus c. And we can actually cancel out the f square for the both side and g square for the both side as well. So just move this value minus c to the left. Then it will be y squared plus 2fx plus y squared plus 2yg plus c will be equals to 0. And this one here should be in the form of this equation here, which is the same. Okay, so for part 6, a straight line can intersect a circle once by touching the circle or twice. Not all straight line will intersect a given circle. Right, okay. And okay, for the part 7, a tangent to the circle is perpendicular to the radius of the circle at the point of intersection. Yeah, guys, so basically the tangent should be perpendicular to the gradient of the radius, okay? And also tangent is meaning that the gradient at that point, okay? Okay, so for the part 8, the perpendicular bisector of the chord will go through the center of the circle. Okay, so basically what is chord? Chord is the line that will pass through the circle with 2 points, okay? And the perpendicular bisector of the chord, which means the midpoint of the chord will be, yeah, like somewhere right here, and it's 90 degree to the original gradient. So the perpendicular bisector of the chord will pass through the center of the circle always, okay? Remember that. And for the part 9, if the angle PRQ, so PRQ, which is here, okay, is 90 degree, then our lines on the circles with diameter PQ. PQ would be here, okay, which is the diameter, and the angle in a semicircle is always right angle. Okay, so if you see the triangle inside the circle and which one of their line is the diameter of the circle, then basically let's say if I do another triangle to the other half of the circle, okay, let's say the angle of this triangle here would also be 90 degree, okay? And for part 10, to find the center of the circle given any 3 points, okay, find the equation of the perpendicular bisector of 2 different charts. Okay, so if I randomly write 2 charts, which the red highlight line, okay, 2, 1 and 2, maybe this guy just pick it randomly, 1 and 2, and the perpendicular bisector of the chart, which is the black line here, okay, black. And the intersection of these 2 perpendicular bisector would be the center of the circle. And yeah, that's pretty much all the concept that you will have to know in order to deal with this chapter. And now let's try to do some questions.
Okay, let's try this. This question here is question 7 from the page 226 in the textbook. And in this question, the perpendicular bisector of the line segment joining the point 5, 8 and 7, -4 cross the x-axis at point Q. Find the coordinate of Q. Okay, so first thing first we have to know the gradient of these 2 points. And we all know that m is equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, right? Would be, let's assume this one is y2 and y1, x2 and x1, okay? -4 minus 8 over 7 minus 5 equals to -4 minus 8 would be minus 12 over 7 minus 5 would be 2, would be -6. And that one here would be the gradient between these 2 points. And they want to find the perpendicular bisector. What does that mean? It means the perpendicular through the midpoint between these 2 points. So the gradient for the perpendicular bisector would be -1 over m. If we substitute this value, okay, back into this m, would be -1 over -6, which would be 1 over 6. And the midpoint between these 2 points is x2 plus x1 divided by 2, which is 7 plus 5 divided by 2, and y2 plus y1 divided by 2, which is negative 4 plus 8 divided by 2, would be 7 plus 5 would be 12. 12 divided by 2 would be 6. And negative 4 plus 8 would be 4. 4 divided by 2 would be 2. Okay, let's move on to the next step, which is equation. And from there, we have to find the equation of the line that passed through the point 6 and 2 and has a gradient of 1 over 6, right? And from the previous video, I taught you guys that y equals to mx plus c, and substitute the value with y, m, and x in order to find the value of c first, and then substitute back into this equation. Let's say this one is x would be 6 and y would be 2, and gradient would be 1 over 6. So would be 2 equals to 1 over 6 times the x value, which is 6, plus c. 2 equals to 1 plus c, and 2 subtract 1 will be 1 equals to c, and then substitute this value back into this equation here, so which would be y equals to the m would be 1 over 6 and x plus 1, and this one here is the method that I used during my A-level exams, and so I think you guys can take it for reference. But this method here is actually not really the method that is taught by the textbook. What the textbook has taught us is y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1. So this one here should be the y, and this one would be the x. Y minus 2 equals to the gradient m would be 1 over 6 times x minus 6. From there, y minus 2 equals to 1 over 6x, and minus 6 times 1 over 6 will be minus 1. Y would be equals to, if I move this minus 2 value to the right, 1 over 6x minus 1 plus 2 will be plus 1. So these two methods are actually both acceptable, but just during the exam I would be more familiar with the method on the left, but I mean would be better if you guys stick with the main route. So you can take it for reference, but I would prefer you guys to use this one more, but it's totally your choice. So from there, we have to find the points of Q that pass through the x-axis. What does that mean? So when y is equals to 0, 0 equals to 1 over 6 x plus 1, and minus 1 equals to 1 over 6x. X would be equals to minus 1 over 1 over 6, which would be minus 6. So the point for the Q would be negative 6 and 0, and here's the answer for question 7. Okay, let's try this. This question here wants us to find the equation of C, and which C is a circle, and it has the center of minus 3 and 8, and it passed through the point of 0 and 9. Okay, so let's say, let me draw a circle first. Let's say this one here is a circle, and the center would be minus 3 and 8. The line of the circle is passing through the points of 0 and 9. So the equation of the circle would be x squared plus y squared equals to r squared, or x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals to r squared, which the center would be a and b. From there, the center would be minus 3 and 8, right? So this one would be minus 3 and 8. If we substitute this two value back into this two value here, would be x minus 3 square plus y minus 8 square equals to the r square. And how are we going to get r square? Basically, is the distance between the center and the points where the line passed through. So the distance would be root x2 minus x1 square plus y2 minus y1 square would be root x2 minus x1 will be, let's say this one is x1, y1, x2, y2, okay? And x2 minus x1 will be minus 3 minus 0 square plus y2 will be 8, 8 minus 9 square equals to minus 3 square will be 9 plus 8 minus 9 will be minus 1 square would be 1. So it will be root 10. This one here should be r. Therefore, r square here would be 10. Y minus minus would be plus 3 square plus y minus 8 square equals to r square will be 10, so will be equals to 10. So here's the equation for the C. Okay, let's do this. This question here is from question 9 in the textbook. So in the first part, they want us to show that x squared plus y squared minus 6x plus 2y minus 10 equals to 0. And to write this into form of x minus a square plus y minus b square equals to r square. Okay, so basically all you have to do is to make it into two parts. Okay, what does that mean? So x squared minus 6x plus y squared plus 2y equals to 10. I basically move this value to the right, and x squared minus 6x would be here, y squared plus 2y would be here. So from there we have to do the completing square in order to write it into this form here. So x minus 3 square, because when this value here is negative 6 divided by 2 will be negative 3 minus negative 3 square, okay, this value square, plus, okay, next y plus 1 square, because 2 divided by 2 will be 1, minus 1 square plus 1 square equals to, just write this thing down to here. So to clean this up, okay, x minus 3 square minus 3 square will be 9 plus y plus 1 square minus 1 square will be what? 1 equals to 10. So x minus 3 square plus y plus 1 square minus 9 minus 1 will be minus 10 equals to 10. X minus 3 square plus y plus 1 square, just move this value to the right, so it will be equals to 20. So we can write it into this form here. For the part B, they want us to write down the center of and the radius of the circle with the equation here. So basically, if we have already write it into this form here, okay, the center would be A and B, and the radius will be, of course, the r. So if we have to really find the center, x minus 3 square plus, because this one here is positive, right? So all we have to do is to y minus, okay, negative 1. So minus minus will be positive. So square equals to 20. 20 will be equals to r square. So the center would be 3 and negative 1. And the center would be, the radius would be 20 equals to r square. R will be equals to root 20. From there, r will be equals to root 4 times root 5. And r will be equals to 2 root 5. And here's the answer for A and B. Okay, to the next question. Wow, this one is a big question. They want us to find the range of the possible value of r. Okay, so basically the question is about the line with the equation y equals to 3x minus 2 does not intersect to the circle with the center 0, 0 and the radius of r. Okay, so basically the circle would look something like this. Okay, this one here would be 0, 0, and the radius would be the r, and that is what they want us to find. They want us to find the range of the possible value of R. Okay, so if they do not intersect the circle, so basically there's no solution. And if there's no solution, then b squared minus 4ac would be less than 0, which the b squared minus 4ac will be the discriminant. So first thing first, we have to assume that the equation of the circle would be x squared plus y squared equals to r squared, because the center of the circle is basically the origin. So this one here should be the equation of the circle. No interaction. Okay, so basically substitute this y value back into this y here. X squared plus 3x minus 2 squared equals to r squared. X squared plus 9x squared minus 3 times 2 will be 6x, and minus 2 times 3 will be minus 6x, plus 4, because negative 2 times negative 2 will be plus 4, equals to r squared. X squared plus 9x squared minus 12x plus 4 equals to r squared. 10x squared minus 12x plus 4. Let's move this thing here to the left. Minus r squared will be equals to 0. So now it's pretty clear. This one is A, and this one is B, and this one is C. Okay, so let's say this one is A equals to 10. Okay, A is 10, and B is minus 12, and C is 4 minus r squared. Substitute this free value back into the discriminant first. Okay, minus 12 square minus 4 times 10 times 4 minus r squared smaller than 0. Minus 12 square would be 144 minus 40 times 4 minus r squared smaller than 0. 144 minus 40 times 4 would be 160 minus plus, because minus sign times the minus sign will be positive. So 40 r squared smaller than 0. And 144 minus 160 would be minus 16. So would be 40 r squared minus 16 smaller than 0. From there, we have to find the critical value of r first, because it would be difficult if you see this kind of like greater or 0 or smaller than 0, then it will be pretty hard for you to find a solution. So first thing first we have to do is to find the critical value first. Okay, let's assume that, okay, 40 r squared minus 16 would be equals to 0. Okay, so 14 r squared equals to 16, and r squared will be equals to 2 over 5, and r will be equals to plus or minus root 2 over 5. So we have to let's draw a graph for the critical value. Let's say this one here is root 2 over 5, and this one here is minus root 2 over 5. Root 2 over 5 is basically the value of 0.63, and minus root 2 over 5 would be, well, obviously would be minus 0.63. And I will tell you why we have to do this later. Okay, so let's substitute any value, okay, that is between the range of minus 0.63 and 0.63. Okay, basically this two value here. Find any number that is between there. Let's say 0. Okay, if we put 0 into this equation here, okay, so if r is equals to 0, 0 squared times 40 would be 0. Okay, so 0 minus 16 would be a negative value. So this one here, the range between these two value here would be negative. So this one has to be under the x-axis. Okay, and for the value that is larger than this value, which is 0.63. Okay, let's assume that if I put let's say 10. Okay, if I put 10, which is way larger than 0.63, 10 square 100 times 40 would be 4,000. 4,000 minus 16 would be 3,000 something, right? So would be definitely positive, okay? And same as here, if I put any number that is smaller than 0.63, let's say negative 10, okay? Negative 10 square, it would be 100. 100 times 40 would be 4,000, and minus 16 would be 3,000 and something, right? So it would be definitely positive as well. So the curve should look something like this, okay? Positive, positive, and negative. And back to the equation that they want us to find the value, okay, set of value that is smaller than 0. So only what they want is negative value. So they want this area here. And the range will be minus 2 root over 5, smaller than r, and r is smaller than root 2 over 5. But the radius can never be negative value, okay? So it can only be greater than 0, okay? So r would be greater than 0. And this one here, supposedly this one should be the final answer, but r has to be greater than 0. So the final answer would be 0, r, and root 2 over 5. And this one here should be the final answer. Okay, let's do one more questions here, and then we'll move on to past paper questions. For the question 12, okay, for the part A, they want us to find the equation of the circle C. Okay, the circle C has the center of 1 and 5 and pass through the points where the P, which is 4 and negative 2. Okay, so basically the circle would look something like this. The center here would be 1 and 5, and the point P would be 4 and negative 2, which would be maybe somewhere around here. And first thing first, we have to know that the equation of the circle is x minus a squared plus y minus b squared equals to r squared. So the r is basically the center to the points, okay? And we all know that the center is 1 and 5, so this one here should be 1 and this one here should be 5, because if you see this form of equation, the center would be a and b, right? So x minus 1 square plus y minus 5 square equals to, let's find the r, okay? So r will be equals to, okay, roots, brackets, this one here would be 4 and negative 2. Let's say this one is x1 and x2, y2 and y1. Okay, so x2 minus x1 will be 1 minus 4, okay, square, plus y2 minus y1 will be 5 minus negative 2 square, would be 3 square would be 9, plus, and 5 minus negative 2 would be 7. 7 square would be 47. Okay, let's bring this thing down to here first. Root 9 plus 49 would be equals to root 58. So this one here should be the radius. Therefore, r square will be the radius square, okay? This thing here square would be 58. And here is the equation for the circle C. And for the part B, they want us to find the equation for the tangent to the circle at the point P. Okay, so basically the tangent would look something like this. Okay, and the angle between the radius and the tangent would be 90 degrees. So first thing first we have to do is to find the gradient of the point C and point P first. The gradient would be equals to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and m would be equals to 5 minus negative 2 over 1 minus 4. For the numerator, 5 minus negative 2 would be 5 plus 2 would be 7 over 1 minus 4 would be minus 3. So the whole thing would be minus 7 over 3. And now we have to find the gradient of the tangent. So 7 over 3. And now we have to find the gradient of the tangent. So what should we do? Basically, it should be minus 1 over the m. Minus 1 over the m would be minus 1 over this value here. Would be minus 7 over 3. So in this case, what should we do? Basically, the numerator and the denominator swap would be minus 3 over 7, right? And times the whole thing by negative 1 would be 3 over 7. Therefore, the gradient for the tangent would be 3 over 7. From there, we have to use y minus y1 equals to m times x minus x1. And y minus y1 would be y minus negative 2 equals to 3 over 7 times x minus 4. Y plus 2 equals to 3 over 7 x minus 3 over 7 times negative 4 would be minus 12 over 7. Y would be equals to 3 over 7 x minus 12 over 7. Subtract 2 would be minus 26 over 7. And that one should be the final answer for part B. This equation here should be the final answer for part A.